Hello guys, how's it going? I'm going to do a review of my 911 today. The review is long overdue, so let's come have a look at the car. A 997 Generation 2. This is pretty much a base model Carrera, and if you come around to the front here, it's actually got a very it's got a very iconic look of that you usually get with a 911. And it's got these kind of a very round headlights compared to the 996. I think it's a really good good classic look of the 911, and also this 997 also looks really modern as well. So let's have a look at the boot. So here it is. Not a lot of space here, as you can tell, but it's still very practical. You could put a luggage in here. But that's all there is really to see. So now you know what the size of the boot is like. Right. So now we had a look at the front of the car. Now let's have a look at the back. So for the Generation 2 of the 911, you notice that the tail lights here, they're kind of curved upwards. So this is a kind of a revision over the Generation 1, and I think it really adds a much more modern look to the 911. So let's have a quick look at the engine. So this is the 3.6 DFI engine. Is a revised over the one on the Gen 1, which I believe was still using the 996. So this DFI engine is hugely revised. So I think it's a much more efficient engine. So I think the old one was doing about 325 brake horsepower, but this one is taking it up to about 345, much more efficient. And he's also got 288 foot-pounds of torque, so giving a very respectable time of 0 to 60 of 4.9 seconds, which is really good. So let's have a look inside. All right. So in here, let's have a look at the interior. The interior is actually, for me, looks really modern. It's got a kind of a leather, sort of a leather interior, and here is the PCM 3.0. It's got sat nav and it's got Bluetooth, all the kind of usual stuff. But unfortunately, the sat nav is actually very out of date, and I think it will cost you £350 to get it updated to only 2013, so it's still out of date. So for that money, you might as well get a brand new TomTom or something. What else you got in here? In here you got also quite a lot of compartments where you could put your wallet and stuff. You've got a phone or something. And you've got the glove box here, and also in here you've got the very useless cup holders, which I don't think they seem to be quite fragile. I mean, I don't use them. I'm probably going to spill a coffee trying to use it. So, but they're there anyway. I guess it's a nice little touch. I got what options? I don't have a lot of options. Oh yeah, I've got a sunroof. I think I need to start the car to pull it back. Give me 2 seconds. I'm not going to start. I just give it some power. Here is the sunroof. I have to say I don't actually use it much, but it is here. This is not a big critical for me, really. This car doesn't have sports chrono, so fairly standard. But I actually do have PASM. I could turn that off, and I've got a button here to stiffen up the suspension. So this is really, and I think the next thing to do is really to go out for a drive. So what is this car like to drive? Well, Porsche has done a great work on this 997.2. So for a start, I noticed the suspension for this car is really brilliant. Like this road, I mean, especially this is something quite important for UK roads, especially this one. Most UK roads are really bad, lots of bumps everywhere, but the suspension in this car just takes it all in and it absorbs everything, and the car remains a very refined and comfortable drive. So now just doing this roundabout here. This car is also very, very mechanical, I would say. So I actually driven a 991 before, and the actual steering really does feel quite dull and numb. And I believe the steering wheel is still hydraulic, so you actually feel feel it quite a lot when you're turning in through the corners. The gear change is smooth. It's nice and a little bit notchy, just how I like it. You really get a feeling of which gear you're in, or which gear you selected, which is a great thing. All right, just trying to concentrate on the road. Lots of cars here. Very busy day today. All right. So yeah, when you just casually cruising around the town, it's a really comfortable car to drive. So I mean, I would say though, coming from a background, so my current car, which my daily warrior, is a Honda Accord Type R front wheel drive car, which is hugely different to this. I must say though, compared to the Honda Accord, I feel a little bit less in the steering wheel. I think even compared to the Honda Accord Type R, there's actually quite a raw experience, which is quite nice, definitely. But then it's kind of a very rough ride. It doesn't take the bumps as well as the 911, most definitely. I guess there's really no comparison, to be honest. But I guess if you're someone who's looking for a really kind of a much more raw experience, more of like a really real race car feel, you probably get that more from maybe a Lotus Elise, Lotus Siege, that sort of car. I think I've sat in those cars before, and definitely the actual experience you get is a lot more in your face. But then for me, I actually quite a nice drive. So this car has got a tons of straight line speed. So I'm just going to give it a quick burst of power here. It's hugely fast. Let's overtake a few guys. Not breaking any speed limits, of course. And this car is great for heel and toe as well. Alright. So now when I'm actually going for it a bit more, this car really starts to liven up, definitely. So obviously it's got a 3.6 litre engine, plenty of power, 345 brake horsepower, lots of straight line speed, that's for sure. So it's definitely not down on power. And the handling of a 911 is actually, I would say, very different to what I'm used to. So coming from a front wheel drive car and going into this, two things are majorly different. One, this is rear wheel. Two, the engine is at back. So you feel all the weight of the car is actually at the back. So now why is that important? Now I think it's very important when you're driving this car, you keep it keep the car as stable as much as possible. What I mean by that is you don't want to do any movements which are too sudden. Don't forget the power is coming from the back. And when you sometimes do very sudden movements in this car, I could definitely feel the weight moving at the back. And that's really the car just, I would say, is telling me, hey, watch out, respect the power in this car, don't overdo it. But then again, don't be afraid to push it. This car, it handles brilliantly. And when you take in the corners, the light, because the front of this car is so light, you could really, it's like, and the weight is the back, you could really feel the car is almost kind of pivoting as you're taking a corner, and it's just got excellent handling. So I'm going to keep driving. So I've got a few things to do this afternoon. I hope you like this review. Give a thumbs up and subscribe. So I'm going to keep enjoying my drive. See you later. Play my tunes from my Spotify, so I'll just get that going. Let's play some music. Come on Spotify, let's go. Let's load up.